guys, welcome to the new year. I cannot believe it's 2024. I feel like this year is going to be really incredible, so hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm right about it. After Christmas, before the new year, we're just kind of in limbo. I feel like that's kind of where I'm at right now. So I'm gonna take control of everything. We're actually gonna go ahead and start taking down all of our Christmas, give our home some room to breathe, and then of course clean everything up. We're gonna start out really nice and clean, really peaceful, really calm. I have some storage bins back there that I'm gonna go ahead and like sort everything out into when I take everything down. And I also want to declutter as I remove everything down, kind of go through everything. That's what I usually do when I start decorating as well as when I take it down. So we have a lot to get done. We're gonna work downstairs as well as upstairs. Let's do this. I wanna hear you say yeah, that you only want me. Crushed heart chained to rhythm and blues, forgetting your name with every move. I'm broken, but all I wanted. So this was pretty soon after Christmas, and I feel like, as you can see, a lot of the Christmas mess and clutter and all the stuff was still kind of hanging out. I don't know how Christmas is with you guys, but at our house, it is very calm, very chill. A lot of times we don't have family in town. We prefer family in town, like that's our favorite. But when it's just us especially, it's just so relaxed. But with a very relaxed Christmas, that means there's a lot of cleanup afterwards, so I'm definitely needing to tackle that here. So usually what we do is we just gather like a laundry basket for each of the boys, and they can grab all their gifts and bring them up to their bedrooms. But then there's always some stragglers that kind of get left behind, and so I'm just making sure to stick those into laundry baskets, and then the boys can bring those back upstairs to their rooms, get those put away and everything. And then any leftover wrapping paper, trash, whatever can get either recycled or thrown in the garbage can, and then we can do like the actual tidying up and everything. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. But I would love to hear, how was your Christmas this year? Did you guys have family in town? Did you go out of town? A lot of times when the boys were young, we used to go back to Montana and visit with family, but as they've gotten a little bit older, we've just kind of learned that we love being at home for Christmas. We definitely invite family down to be with us during the holidays, but we just prefer to kind of hunker down and hang out and just have a nice, relaxed holiday. All right, let me know what you do at your house. So you know we decorate a little bit early. We decorate usually on like November 1st because I know myself. And on the day after Christmas or the few following days, I just want peace in my home. I want to kind of take things down and get ready for the new year and start with a clean slate. Now, I wasn't feeling so overwhelmed this year like I feel like I normally am. I definitely was like, I'm ready for a clean slate. And as soon as I started pulling down the decor, I just felt a sense of relief, like, this feels so good and makes me so excited for the new year and just all the things. So for us, I like to decorate a little bit early and then take it down pretty much right after Christmas, and then kind of get that fresh, clean slate of the new year. But I know a lot of people wait until the day after Thanksgiving to decorate, and then a lot of people will wait a few days into January, but let me know what works for you. What do you do in your house? And also, I'm kind of curious, do you do whatever you do because of a certain reason, or do you do that because that's just how you did it growing up? I think a lot of things we just end up doing because that's how we always did it growing up, and you don't really even question it. And so I'm just curious, like, what you do and what your reasoning is for it. This duster that I'm using right here is my favorite. It's the Full Circle brand reusable duster. I don't know what the official name is for it, but I have had it for years and years and years. I got it from Grove Collaborative, and you can just actually pull the entire duster part off. You can get refills for it and then toss those into the wash. So it's super nice. It works really well, and I love that it's reusable. So it's lasted me literally for years and years. Now I am going to have to go back through and actually
like wipe it down with a wet cloth, probably my e-cloths, I'm sure. But for now, I'm just getting the dust off. I definitely like to do this between each season just because, as you can see, it definitely needs it. It honestly needs it a little bit more, but that's just not realistic for me to pull everything down and dust everything off like once a month. So once a quarter is good for me. But I'm thinking the next video I share, which should be this coming Thursday, that video I'm planning to share some like healthy recipes. It's perfect for the new year because that's one of the things that I'm really excited about coming in the new year is just eating cleaner and eating healthier and just making clean eating more attainable. So I'm definitely planning to share some new recipes with you guys, but I'm also going to be decorating for just, I guess, our typical everyday decorations. So not really seasonally, but just the prettiest decor that I love all the time. So I'm thinking that I'm going to be adding that into the next video as well.
I took the road less traveled, and my car broke down.
So you'll see me go through and actually start decluttering some things a little bit later on, but this year I actually didn't go crazy with my decor. I didn't feel like I kind of kept it a little bit more simple on our shelving. I just put what I wanted, but nothing really kind of overtook the space. And so honestly, all the pieces that I ended up using this year are pieces that I loved and pieces that I think I'll continue to use year after year. So I didn't end up decluttering anything at the moment, but later on when I continue to pull things down from like around the kitchen, and actually there was a lot of things in my other tote that isn't shown right here that I just didn't use this year and I don't think I'm going to use in coming years, so I do end up decluttering some things later on. It does just feel really, really good to have everything in my tote that I know I love.
I risk everything for you. Can't stop loving you. Can't stop thinking about you.
Let me know if you remember when I drew on this little Christmas village onto this, what is it called? Like the brown parchment paper stuff. I don't know. I know you know what I'm talking about. I just can't think of what it's actually called. But anyway, I did this year when I decorated for Christmas. I ended up covering our cactus picture just because it does not exactly scream Christmas, and I wanted to be able to keep it up. I didn't want it to get damaged or anything by pulling it down, but I also wanted it to feel Christmassy, and so I loved that little picture, how it turned out. But it's kind of a bummer because I'm not going to be able to save it. I just know it's too big and it's not durable, so I am going to end up tossing this out and recycling it. So that was definitely a bummer, but I'm thinking next year maybe I'll wrap it up with a bow or something, or maybe I'll draw another kind of Christmas scene on there. It's a lot of fun just to know that now I have that option if I want to. One of my very big goals for this year is to really get great again at meal planning. That's something that I actually feel like I used to be so good at. Like every single night we had a meal on the table, it was healthy and it was planned out because I did that every single Monday. I went meal shopping on Monday or grocery shopping on Monday. Like I was just in such a good routine. and I'm not really sure exactly what happened. I think it was kind of a lot of things, but over the years, I have definitely fluctuated on being like really good at it, struggling a bit, and everything in between. So this year, I really want to work at that. I do feel like having this little menu board right here has been such a help to me. Just having something really easy like dry erase, and also on this board, I'm able to like write leftovers, and we kind of make sure that we use up our leftovers before they go bad. So that's been really helpful, but that's definitely one of the things that I'm excited to work on in the new year. And I'll touch more on that actually in the next video, because I have some really great ideas that I'm wanting to try out, and I'll share with you guys then. Okay, so I think it was my high energy clean with me video that I shared at the end of last year. In that video, I talked about thoughts on like New Year's goals, resolutions, all that kind of stuff. Now, I know some people totally swear off resolutions just because a lot of times it ends up being a letdown. But for me, I totally grab onto them, and I just feel like even if you're going to fail a little bit at something, or even if you might not reach it, to me, I feel like if you don't make goals, you're definitely not going to get better at something. So I personally love them. I love doing them. But I have learned over the years to set attainable goals, and then I do reach a little bit higher with those. I totally used to be the person that was like, you know, in the new year, I'm going to do this and do that and do this and do that, and like list all of these crazy things. And it wouldn't just be like anything really attainable. It would be very, very intense. And so now I do kind of more focus on things that I actually can attain, but I do kind of set them a little bit more out of reach. That way I have something to really work towards. But one of the things that I chatted with you guys about was actually thinking of a good word for the new year. I really have loved doing that. I think the last 2 years, maybe 3 years, but anyway, over the last few weeks, I've been kind of thinking about what word I want to focus on for the new year. And I actually ended up landing on the word faith for the upcoming year. And to kind of go over that a little bit more of like what it means to me is basically I just used to be the person that had unlimited faith on anything. If something terrible would happen, I could always see the bright side of it. If I was going through something really difficult, I could always kind of look towards that silver lining. I could always kind of have blind faith, like it's fine, everything's gonna be good, and I would, just move forward. And I feel like that served not only myself really well, but I actually feel like it was a beacon for my entire family. And ever since my dad passed almost 2 years ago now, it has definitely been a struggle for me. Like I don't immediately just look towards the positive of something. If I'm struggling with something, I can dwell on it a lot longer, and it's not served me in the same way at all. And so this year, I am really going to be focusing on keeping faith with everything. Not, just religious faith, of course, but also just faith in things being okay, like always looking towards the positive, because I really think that is going to serve myself and my family so much better than me dwelling on any negative of anything. So that's my word officially for 2024. But if you have a word for this year and you didn't tell me last week, I would love to hear what your word is this year and what it means to you. I always think it's so inspiring. I'm actually having the kids pick a word this year. I think it's going to be a lot of fun for them.
Shakes the week right off of me, feeling up on the feeling of the heat. We don't run, just let it come naturally. Yeah, we don't run, no, we don't run, no. Yeah, we're gonna ride this wave until it breaks. We're gonna drive all day. We're gonna ride this wave until it breaks. All I know, yeah, all I know.
Every year we do a hot cocoa bar for like winter and Christmas time. And this year I think I'm actually going to leave it up like another month or so. Now I am taking down all of the Christmas decorations, but I'm just leaving the actual cocoa stuff themselves, and I won't really be like refilling anything, but the boys just love it. And since we are about to get into the coldest month of the year, which is January, I figured this is like the perfect time to leave it out, and I'm sure the boys will appreciate having a little extra time with it. Okay, so this basket or this bin is items that I actually didn't use this year. Now, I do like to kind of change things up each year, so I do like to have a little bit of a variety. Some of these I haven't even used probably in like 2 years. So I'm gonna go through them, declutter anything that I think I'm not going to want to use in future years, and then I'll stash this one away. And then all we really need to do left down here is just take the garland off from the top of the kitchen cabinets, and then take the tree down, and then we'll head upstairs. Everything in this laundry basket is everything that I'm going to be getting rid of, and I'm sure I'm gonna grab some more things from upstairs and, you know, when I go through that final tub. But as you may know, I started doing a decluttering series of basically my whole house a few months ago. I got a little jump start on it because I was feeling incredibly overwhelmed several months ago. And one thing that I've learned is just because you like something doesn't mean it has a place in your home. And so all of these decor pieces that I'm actually getting rid of, I still like them, but I don't like them better than the ones that I'm keeping. Like, those are the ones that I just don't have room for on my shelves. And so for that reason, I'm going to give them a new home. I'm going to give them to my sisters, or give them to a friend, or donate them, and just let them kind of have a new life and feel appreciated, because for like 2 years now, these things have just sat in my totes doing nobody any favors. So it just feels so good to declutter things, even if they are things that I'm still liking, but I just don't love. And I'm really excited because next week I'm going to be jumping back into my decluttering series and continuing on throughout the house and just clearing out more spaces and feeling even more peace than we were already feeling. I still have so far to go with this, but it feels so good to be just clearing things out and only keeping things in our home that actually serve us. I feel like I've just felt such a huge weight lifted whenever I go through any areas in our house.
Never waste my time, you all I want. Neither of us wanna be alone. Breathing in your love, on your touch.
This year was kind of funny to me because we ended up decorating a little bit early because we were having company come into town, and then it got just so chaotic, I think, because we had company and then we were kind of playing catch up, and then we went out of town, and it was just a slew of, you know, life stuff. And we ended up not decorating our Christmas tree until probably like 2 weeks before Christmas. We did have it up for all that time, and we did have lights on it and stuff, but we didn't have the actual ornaments on it or like the garland strung around it or anything until like 2 weeks before Christmas. And then now we're like already taking it down, but I feel like everyone's kind of ready for, you know, that fresh feeling and just having a little bit more space in the house and all that stuff. So I don't feel like we got to enjoy it for as long as we would have liked to, but now at this point we're just kind of ready to move forward. But this year I feel like I have a new appreciation for pre-lit trees, because we got our tree several years ago and it's a pre-lit tree, but it actually had the lights start going out like 2 or 3 years ago, and then they went out a little bit more the next year, and this year they're like basically completely gone. And so we had to string the lights around it ourselves, which totally worked. Like, you can't even tell the difference, and we were able to get some lights that I really like. They have some color options. They also are just like a warm light or a cool light, whatever you want. So it's really cool like how versatile it is. but stringing the lights on was just like a whole nother step. And so I'm definitely feeling like very grateful for the pre-lit trees. I don't think we're going to end up getting a new tree just because this one totally works other than the lights, and we're able to remedy that with the, extra lights. But if they ever sold a tree that had like guaranteed lights that wouldn't go out for like 10 or 15 years, I would sign up for that tree so quick, because I just am a girl that loves the simplicity of things. While Kyle was still working on unwrapping all the lights from the Christmas tree, I just went ahead and started vacuuming up our carpet. It definitely needed a little extra love, especially with like all of the glitter being pulled down from all the Christmas decor and Christmas actually happening and all this stuff. So I just wanted to give the carpets a good clean. Now I actually have a brand new tool that I want to share with you guys. I was actually going to share it with you guys in this video, but I ended up just running out of time. We had to make a quick trip to the pet store because Liam got a lizard for Christmas. I'm not sure if we'll regret that decision, but he's getting a bearded dragon. But I'm excited to share that other tool with you guys. So I'm thinking I'll probably do that in next video, but it's like a new vac mop that is a lot more affordable than the one that I have. I absolutely love my Roborock vac mop, but it definitely is on the pricier side. So I have really high hopes for this new one to see if it's going to work as well, but also be at a lower price point. So we'll see, and I'll share with you guys in the next video.
Cover your eyes, this one's for you. I'm not gonna be silent in this vera wang. Oh, you know I'm not that kind of girl. I'm much better off in the underworld. I got news for you, and things I wanna pursue.
It is actually the next night. We had a really busy day and we had a busy night, so I'm just kind of getting back to things, but I want to tackle these stairs. I'll show you guys an up close, but one of the things about that garland, I got it years and years ago from Hobby Lobby, and it's so pretty, but it sheds like crazy. Not the actual leaves itself, but it's like, I'll show you guys an up close, but it's like these little tiny bits of ice, kind of like crystals, I guess, which is supposed to look like frost. It looks so pretty, but it sheds like no other. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of clean up the stairs on my way upstairs. We'll take down the rest of Christmas and get that looking really nice. And then our house will just be done. It'll be so nice and clean, and it's already just feeling so much more peaceful down in like the main living area. It feels really, really good. Okay, so this is my new vacuum. I believe it's still on sale, but I'll leave the link down below either way. But what's really cool is it is a full-size vacuum. It's corded, so you have all that suction and power, but all you do is press this button and it's like a lift away, and then this is so incredibly light. So this way I can just like vacuum the stairs easily. I can set the canister down and do it, but then I can just go up and down the stairs way easier than if I were lugging like a whole big vacuum. This is so random, but when Kyle and I were taking down the Christmas tree, we were taking off the Christmas cactus lights, we were just chatting with each other about like New Year's resolutions and kind of what we were hoping for the new year. And one of the topics that we got on was actually whether or not we were procrastinators. And I was asking him if he felt like he was a procrastinator, and he was like maybe kind of, but not any more than anybody else. And then he said that he thought I was definitely not a procrastinator. And I literally stopped what I was doing and looked at him and I was like, what? Are you serious? Because to me, like, that's one of my biggest faults is I feel like I am such a procrastinator. And he kind of was explaining to me that from his point of view, at least, he just feels like I have kind of an imbalance in my mind. Like when I'm working on something, I kind of can't turn my mind off to something else. Almost like I'm always multitasking in my mind, and I completely agree. And so he said, when I do that, then it ends up costing me more with something else, if that makes sense. Like, for example, if I'm working on a project, I will be thinking about that project 24/7 for like weeks. And I feel like I've been working on that project for weeks, even though I haven't even started on it, right? Like I'm just doing all the planning of it. And so then I end up getting burnt out from it. And when I could be, actually working on the project, then I'm like pushing it off, because to me, it's like I've been working on it this whole time. And so that's definitely true, I would say, from what he was saying. I do think I still need to work a little bit on procrastinating, but I think a big part of it is kind of what he was talking about. So I was curious if any of you have struggled with that, like kind of not being able to shut your mind off from different things that you're not actually working on at the moment, but just kind of things that are taking up mental capacity. If you have struggled with that, do you have any tips or any, exercises that you found that work for that? Because that is definitely something that I really, really want to work on. I think that's not serving me well at all. And I really just kind of want to fix that or change it in the new year. So I know that is so incredibly random, but any advice you have on that, I would be all ears. Right now we have an almost 13-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 7.5-year-old, and I can just feel the magic of Christmas is kind of slipping through my fingers. Like I can tell we only have a few years left of that really, really magical Christmas with really young kids, and it's fun to go into this new stage, but it also kind of breaks my heart just because I feel like I didn't know how fast time would go. And I know everybody always tells you that. And I remember growing up, you see your relatives that you don't see all the time, and they're like, how in the world did you grow so much? As a kid, you're like, I don't know, I've just been growing normal, but when you're an adult, and especially when you're a parent, you just see your kids just shoot up so quickly, and like the years go by faster and faster. And I just was talking to Kyle, I was like, I just want time to slow down. Like it was such a good year, but it was such a fast year. I cannot even begin to believe that the year is over. It's so unbelievable to me.
She's a something little thing now. Oh, babe,
as my heart was for the taking. Yeah, so crazy. Other girls never could face me. When it came to you, I was so hasty to make you mine, no time for playing. She's a saucy little thing now. Oh baby, every time I'm around you, I feel so right. She's a saucy little thing now. Yeah. Oh baby, tender love can't got me feeling nice. You know how to ease my mind. Each day I wish I could rewind it.
Next up is our theater room. You know this room always gives me a bit of trouble, but it's okay because this is where we love to hang out and we just kind of veg out in here, chill, and then there comes a point where we just got to get it together. So that's what I'm doing in here now. And one thing about it is like when you have a room that gets too far gone too often, that feels so good once it's all put together again. It just feels like a breath of fresh air and you kind of appreciate it a little bit more. So that's definitely how I felt when I was cleaning this room. But even though I definitely was not feeling like cleaning up at this point, I just wanted to hang out and chill. I really did not want to go into the new year with a room like this. So I wanted to get our whole house cleaned up, fresh, and just feeling really nice and peaceful. And that's exactly what I did and exactly how it felt once I was done.
Cause she wasting her time and she got things to do. Like work on herself, cause that's what queens do. She ain't like other women, and that's the truth. Plus she knows her worth and all her value. If you ain't talking the ring, she throwing up the deuce. She throwing up the deuce. That girl, way too saucy. I'm just glad I made her mine. She's a saucy little thing now. Saucy little baby. Every time I'm around you, I feel so right. She's a saucy little thing now. Oh baby, tender love can't got me feeling nice. Take it up, yeah, take it up. She's a saucy little thing now. Oh baby, every time I'm around you, I feel so right. She's a saucy little thing now. Oh baby, tender love can't got me feeling nice. Whoa.
Here I'm just grabbing all the rest of our Christmas stuff and putting it into our upstairs Christmas bin. This is more of like my red and white. Sometimes I have gold tossed into here, but I do love just keeping things separated in the areas that I like to use the decorations in. And although this definitely felt like a big task to take all the Christmas decorations down all in one, basically 24-hour period, it did feel so good to get the house feeling like I could breathe again and just feel like we're starting the new year out with a clean slate and just ready to make it exactly what we're wanting. Now, let me know in the comments, did you clean along with me today, or are you just like banking some motivation for later? There's definitely no wrong answer. I'm just curious what you did today. If you did take advantage of cleaning along with a friend, let me know what you got done today during this like 30-minute video. And I also did want to remind you, make sure to stay tuned for Thursday's video. That's going to be the next video that I share, and it's going to be a homemaking video. We are going to be putting decorations back up on the shelf. I'm going to be sharing some new recipes, lots of homemaking motivation and cleaning inspiration. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm also going to be testing out that new vac mop. So I'm really excited to try it out with you guys and just kind of let you know my thoughts on it. So stay tuned for all of that. I'm so excited for all the things to come in the new year. If you have any video suggestions or things that you would like me to share, go ahead and let me know in the comments, and you never know, I might just pick that for my next video. But as always, thank you so incredibly much for spending your time with me today. If you are new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys!